guys, I'm Heather and I'm here today with my March TBR. I don't have a full TBR, so a lot of what I'm reading is kind of mood reading, but like within the confines of some parameters. So for one thing, I'm doing the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge for the year, so I do have 50 prompts to read. I think all but a couple of them are ones that I own books that will fit those prompts. So I'm using my physical TBR for like all but like a couple of those. And then my other goal is actually to read down my physical TBR and eventually plan a decluttering for books that I don't want anymore. So a lot of it is backlisted, not a ton of new stuff, and just a whole bunch of randomness. So let's go with what I have, because kind of mood reading, but within the confines of my physical TBR. I think I should still get to these ones that I have here, but there will probably be quite a few that are different when I end the month, I guess. Or not different necessarily, but additional to the ones that I have here. So the first book I'm in the middle of, and that's Dark Prince by Christine Feehan. I'm actually listening to this on audio right now, and so far I absolutely hate it. Like, I loathe the characters, I loathe the audiobook and the voices. I feel like it would be better if I was just reading it, but the problem is this book has had two different versions. The one that I have, and then there's like an author's cut that has like, I think, an additional 100 pages in there. So the audiobook is the author's cut, and I'm having a hard time trying to find where it is in the book because chapters don't line up. Like, there were a lot of books that I read in February where I half listened to them, half read them, and I matched them up by the chapters. But I don't know where I am in this book, and I don't have the other one, and it's not available on Scribd or my library for the author's cut yet. It says coming soon on Scribd, so I don't know if that's just not available to me or if it's not available at all yet. Sometimes I don't understand the available soon thing on Scribd, but I'm gonna slog through this. I have two more from the series in the Pop Sugar Challenge that I hope are better than this one, because I hate this so far. Then I'm trying to read some of the easy books on my TBR. I feel like if I can get the momentum for reading lots of books, then those bigger books that I have to slog through will be much easier for me, and I won't feel as pressured if I have a large number already read. So for that reason, I picked a couple like random books that look like they'll be easy to read. The first one is Vampire Beach Volume 1. This is the first two books, Bloodlust and Initiation, and that's by Alex Duvall. I have Volume 1 and 2, and it says the conclusion is in Volume 2, so I don't know if there were more Vampire Beach books, but this should finish out a story. So I'm at least going to read one, if not Volume 2, just to get them out of the way. And then I have this book here, Me, Myself, and Why by Mary Janice Davidson. Usually she is a pretty quick read for me, but this one has really tiny writing in it. And it looks like it may take a little bit longer than most of her books. I've read a large number of her Queen Betsy the Undead series, and they took no time at all. But this one looks like it might take a little bit longer. I have the receipt from when I purchased it, and it was October 12th, 2011 that I bought this book. And I have not read it yet, so I'm going to do that now. Then the next book that I picked up for an easy read is The Accidental Werewolf by Dakota Cassidy. This actually reminds me on the surface of Undead and Unwed by Mary Janice Davidson. She's a fashionista that gets turned into a werewolf, and all that. So part of the reason I picked this is because I have a number of books in this series that I got on, clearance. And I need to see if I like it, because if I don't like her writing, I think I've maybe read something by her before, but maybe not. It might have been someone else in a similar style or a similar cover that I read before, because I used to get tons of these books on clearance. So I may have read hers before or not, I don't know. But I have a number of books by her, and if I don't like her writing style at all, that would suggest I don't need to read or keep any of the other ones. So another book that I'm reading is 19 Minutes by Jodi Picoult. I'm actually reading that on Scribd. I do have the physical book, but it's a massive book. So I feel like the ebook would be easier to read. And interestingly, that's the second school shooting book in a row that I've read. I read last Douglas Copeland's Hey Nostradamus that had a school shooting, and then 19 Minutes also has a school shooting. I'm not sure how that happened. It was purely coincidental, but there's that. And interestingly, outside of Dark Prince, none of these books so far are on my Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. I do need to get to a few of those. Trying to think if I have any other very short ones, but I don't think I do. So that's just going to be a surprise at the end of the month, which ones I get to. I do have one more, though, that's on my Pop Sugar Reading Challenge that I did pick up to read, and that is this one right here. This is the Mandarin version of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone right there. And it looks really thin. I mean, it's bigger than like this one. So like this. So the size of it is actually bigger than this. And it looks like based on this, there are 17 chapters. Yeah, 17 chapters. I think what I'm going to do for this is try to do 2 chapters a month. There are 10 more months in the year. I think 2 chapters a month should get me all the way there with some wiggle room in case just I don't have the time or something. It seems like this wouldn't be so hard to do, but look at that. And really, this is beyond my skill level. So this is going to take a lot of looking up, a lot of like checking pronunciation, checking characters, making sure that I have the right meaning. I do have it in English, so I can compare, which is a good thing. And I do have probably the best Chinese dictionary app on my phone called Pleco. So it's just going to take a lot of work. So I'm going for 2 chapters a month on this book. And hopefully by the time I get further in, it'll be easier as I've recognized more characters and learned more characters and gotten used to sentence structure and everything like that in writing. So hopefully it will get easier as it goes along, but I'm committed. I'm going to start this in March and do 2 chapters a month, so it won't be finished. It'll be finished by the end of the year, hopefully. Because that would be the last book in my Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. I'm counting it for a made-up language, because I think Parcel Tongue is in there very, very briefly, though not in the same way that it is in like Chamber of Secrets. I just don't have Chamber of Secrets. I only have the Philosopher's Stone in Mandarin, so we're going with that one. But aside from these books, something I want to do is finish series that I've started. So I have some series in my possession where I've read some of the books, but not all of them. And I want to, especially with the ones where I actually have all the books, usually with a trilogy or something like that, I want to read them all, see if I like the whole thing, and see how the story ends. Because a lot of them, the way they're published, I was getting them as they came out, but it'd be like another year before they came out, and by the time it got to their publication date, I had moved on, I had forgotten about them. Sometimes I still bought them anyway, or bought them later. I'm like, oh, I remember that, I'll get to that, and I just never did. So I've got a couple series that I'm not entirely sure which one I want to start with. I think I have an idea. So I have like the Darkest Power series, I think that's what it's called, by Kelly Armstrong. I read the first one and did not read the other two. And then I have nearly all of the Vampire Diaries series. Like I read the original trilogy, and I read like the first one when they brought it back, but I hadn't finished beyond that. And that's actually where I got the idea for this. I saw a video that was comparing the TV show to the books, and they're mentioning things in the books, and I'm like, hey, that's not in the book. And then I'm like, oh yeah, they continue that series much longer than the original series. And then I think I have one by Kirsten White, the Paranormalcy. I think I have all three of those books. I'm leaning towards the Darkest Power ones by Kelly Armstrong. They look like they're really short and easy to read. So I think I'm going to go with those. So tentatively, that is also going to be on my TBR. I think those are the ones that I'm going to go with. And I'll probably film videos on those as I read those. So, yeah. But that is everything for this TBR. I'm sure I'll have way more books in the wrap-up, but I definitely want to get to these. So, yeah. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.